Hey guys, welcome to the week of May 11th to 17th. This week is a powerful week. It's a potent week. It has the potential to be a hot week, a challenging week, but also a really nourishing, truthful, healing week. And the word that comes to mind, or the phrase that comes to mind when I think this week is, we're here for it. It's a good time to get excited, to be in the moment and be who you're meant to be. Let's start off on Sunday the 11th. Sunday the 11th, we have Luna herself moving into Scorpio, preparing for the full moon that's going to be on Monday the next day. So we got a little bit of Scorpio energy coming through in the background, but we also have Mercury in Taurus semi-sextile to Neptune in Aries. That's a challenging energy in general, semi-sextiles, but also Mercury in Taurus isn't necessarily the best spot, Mercury's favorite spot. There's the potential for less than authentic communication. So the theme this week is about our authenticity. It's about really spending time figuring out what our truths are. And I'll get to some of the aspects and why I think that's the case. And speaking from the heart, but maybe speaking in a little bit more of a vulnerable way, in a different way. Mercury is going to be in Taurus from the 10th of May to the 25th of May. And so that theme of potential for being too stubborn, potential for being to sugarcoat things more than we may mean. So the way through, instead of those two polarities, is being in the middle and really taking the time in Taurus fashion to feel into what's true for us. Mercury in Taurus is a little challenging because good communication is often adaptable, and Taurus isn't necessarily adaptable, but Taurus can be a good thing for Mercury because Taurus lends authenticity. So just the theme here is a little bit of friction, trust yourself, be aware that there might be a tendency to be too nice or be too stubborn. On Monday, the 12th, we have a couple things going on. The big one is the full moon. And I have a podcast coming out that's going to give us a deep dive into that, all those aspects. But in general, it's worth noting here, Luna is in Scorpio, and that is the potential for illuminations of truths beneath the surface, of really illuminations of the need for transformation, illuminations to the fact that we're already on the transformation ride in the amusement park. And whenever there's a full moon, the moon is opposite the sun. And so that's going to be a potential challenge, and in the sense that the sun is conjoined to Uranus. And there's the potential at the beginning of this week that there's going to be something's going to be set off, and we're going to see it come to fruition by Sunday, because there's another really potent Uranus aspect on Sunday. But for right now, on Monday, keep the feelers, keep the spidey senses aware of what's starting to Uranus is sudden change. Uranus is we are the change. Uranus is the types of realizations, the types of opportunities that come out of the blue in a non-linear fashion. More on that in the full moon podcast, but that's operational on Monday. And then we also have a pretty big aspect. We have Mercury square to Pluto. Mercury in Taurus, as I mentioned, square to Pluto in Aquarius. And it's worth noting that Scorpio, Luna is in Scorpio, we have the full moon in this very same time, is ruled by Pluto. So this gives an extra dose of Plutonian energy. Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, as we know. It just made that transition a little bit ago. It's one of the kicker off of all the transitions that are coming in this year next. but really there's a potential for a release of energy. It may, as I mentioned, it may take a few days to see it until Sunday or till Saturday the 17th, but it's worthwhile for us to really be willing to trust our intuition here. And there might also, because we have Mars sesquiquadrate the North Node on this same day, Mars and Leo, sesquiquadrate is an internal tension. It's a conflicting of internal desires. So we're going to have the potential during this full moon to have an illumination of how we might have some lines crossed in our own way that we have habitually been running energy, the way that we know how to run energy. And so all of this is good. This is a really powerful week. This is a week of being present, being present, being here for it, being truthful. The themes that are going to keep coming up in this week is about our internal communication. And so let's get next to the next aspect that happens is on Wednesday. Wednesday, the 14th, we have the sun semi-sextile Jupiter. So sun is in Taurus, Jupiter is in Gemini. Semi-sextiles are just a little bit friction. And this is to give us a new understanding of how we process change, how we adapt to change, how much more can we release the need to know the final score, the need to know what's happening? Can we be on the magic carpet ride and be in our now moment? That is what Wednesday's cooking up. By the time we get to Thursday, we have the sun semi-sextile Chiron. And so this is more 3D challenges. Chiron's in Aries. The challenges are going to turn internal, though. With Chiron, it's about our inner critic. It's about our inner voice. It's about the what happens between the things that happen, the space between. What do we do with the pause? And so really it's the opportunity here is whatever's coming up and whatever's coming to light, the realizations here in Chiron fashion, it's for healing. And so there's this potential for us to really, in the silence, in the quiet moments, realize how some of the stuff that we're telling ourselves is not always we could be a little bit more kinder to ourselves. Probably, I think there's going to be some things that we're taking on in the collective that we're going to be able to realize are suboptimal in how we talk to ourselves, and how we talk to ourselves is what we offer to the world. So these types of realizations and these types of changes are really going to be, the word, as I mentioned, is potent for change, ripe for change. We also have Mercury in Taurus, semi-square Jupiter, Jupiter and Gemini. So this is a double dose of communication friction. How does our self-talk limit our ability to serve? As I mentioned, it's, we are, the light is only as bright as the window that it shines through. So if we're seeking to be of service, if we're seeking to really be the change we wish to see in the world, this vessel is our house. And the thoughts and the self-talk and that the midweek is going to be a really good time for some of these realizations. We also have Sun and Taurus sextile the North Node. And this is good news because we're going to feel on some level, despite like a little bit, these little friction things, we're going to know that we can trust ourselves. At a very fundamental level, we're going to be kind of almost like static to turn in to know that I am sovereign and I am always in charge of what I choose to say, what I choose to see, how I choose to, to feel. So we're going to be able to see how and why releasing the patterns that we might become aware of is a good thing. By the time we get to Friday, we have Mercury semi-square the North Node, and well, let's back up first. We also have on Friday we have Luna trine to Mercury. And this means it's a good time, again, for meditation. It's a good time for journaling. It's a good time to figure out what's true for ourselves. Because we're each a necessary part of future solutions. So Mercury is going to be semi-square to the North Node and semi-sextile to Venus. And Venus is going to start to activate on Friday and really be active into Saturday. And Venus is in Aries. And as I mentioned before, this is a dose of harmony and cosmic justice and balance, and realizing that it's the I am state. We are the change. So this is really going to support us in embracing our authenticity. Venus wants us to be the change, but Venus knows that our voice is necessary, but we really are going to have to take some time to not just go on autopilot, not just say the same old thing because it's what we always say, to look within and find the why, find the truth, and to be willing to share that truth. We're living in transformational times. It could be a little scary, it can feel a little vulnerable, but you know, the thing that comes to mind is that type of fear and anxiety where we kind of wonder whether or not the fear or anxiety is something we should be afraid of. And then the light bulb comes on and it's like, oh, I'm actually kind of excited about this. Maybe I'm not nervous, afraid for something bad. Maybe I'm nervous because there's this potential for this vast Uranian transformation, which dun 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 brings us to Saturday, which is the next major aspect. We have two major aspects this week. The first one's on Monday, and that is Mercury squaring Pluto. This one is the sun conjoining Uranus. And so this is where I mentioned if there's some kind of something that's set off on Monday, move through the week. By the time we get to Saturday, boom. This is like kind of like a unexpected development, something unexpected, something out of the blue. Depending on how we've worked with the energy, it could be a little bit of a wake-up call. But also, the wonderful thing about astrology is all these things are cuspy. We're going to be able to feel into what's going on, but we're going to feel like it's go time. And it's worth noting that the sun conjoins Uranus once every year, and there are always themes around breakthroughs. And the other thing that happens when the sun conjoins Uranus is we're going to feel the deep desire to express who we are, to express our individuality. And it's going to feel something like, for me, I say it's like my back comes out my front. And oftentimes that can be a little bit of a past life feeling where you feel like you've been here before and you feel like you know what you want to say and you know what's true for you and you just know it. So it's going to be this kind of opportunity for some kind of a truthful, passionate expression. That being said, we also have Venus active here. So we have the sun and Mercury together, and Venus is semi-squaring both of them. So Venus, the dose of Venus energy here is about using our capacity for compassion, our capacity for the bigger picture, our capacity for cosmic justice. So the breakthroughs could feel sudden, but also there's going to be this invitation for us to not just charge ahead, but to open up and be able to see the big picture. So really potent week. I think this is a perfect dose of potential and possibility, and a good week for staying in tune with who we are and what our truth is and how we feel, and to really be willing to be the change, realizing that we are the change and that our truth is a part of the change. And this isn't finger pointing our truth. This is owning our vibration and owning the real truth about who we are and why we're here and what's valuable to us. That's what Venus is here to remind us of. We are necessary. And the things that we sense and the things that we feel and the things that we know are a part. Instead of being a part of the problem, let's speak our truth and be a part of the solution. All right. Have a blessed week and check out my podcast for the full moon when you get a chance. Bright blessings and so much love.